Are you thinking about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina? And maybe you're asking yourself, I wonder what it's like living here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, you've come to the right place because we're coming to you from the beating heart here in Charlotte. Today we will review the ins and outs of living here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll discuss the transportation, location, some fantastic neighborhoods and communities you can find right here in Charlotte. And of course, we'll talk about some great things to do, some fantastic attractions, and the real estate. So let's go ahead and jump on in, guys. And if you are new to the channel and want to make sure you know everything there is to know about the Charlotte area, feel free to click that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you'll be the first to know about the local Charlotte market. My name is Josh Finigan, team leader with the Finigan Group, powered by eXp Realty, and every single day myself and my team get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you, either looking to move to the Charlotte area or within the Charlotte area, and I'll tell you, we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, text us, email us, schedule a Zoom meeting so we can meet face to face. That link is in the description below. We'd love to be able to help make your move a smooth one. So as we mentioned earlier, we'll be giving you an overview of what life is like here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now I will say this will be a little bit different than some of the other videos we shot, and it's because Charlotte is so diverse and so large. If we went through everything Charlotte has to offer, this video would end up being about 3 to 4 hours long, and I'm sure you guys got a lot of things to do today. I'd love to talk for that long, but we'll make this a little bit shorter, brief, and give you a nice overview of what Charlotte's all about. But we do have hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel diving into some different neighborhoods, areas, locations here in the Charlotte area that we do go in depth into. So I do implore you to look at the other videos on our channel if you want to know a little bit more information about a particular area here in Charlotte. So first off, let's go ahead and break down some of Charlotte's major districts and arteries. And we're going to start in Charlotte City Center, called Uptown. Uptown is really the business district here in the Charlotte area. You're going to find some of the Fortune 500 headquarters right here in the area. You have Bank of America, Truist, and a lot of other businesses right here. Now, many of Charlotte's major highways, interstates, and arteries really connect to I-277 and sprawl outwards. So you guys have all heard the saying, all roads lead to Rome. It's kind of the same here in Charlotte. All roads lead to Charlotte City Center. It's really a central spot, an easy hub to get around. Now, Charlotte is quite car dependent, so there can be traffic at times, but one thing I do really love is there's a lot of different options and different routes you can take to try to avoid traffic depending on when you're traveling. Now, there are some walkable neighborhoods and communities like Elizabeth, Plaza Midwood, or South End, but most of the areas you're going to need a car to get to and from in the Charlotte area. And there's not a huge amount of public transportation, but that is changing. You have a super cool feature here in Charlotte, the Lynx light rail that starts in the north at UNC Charlotte, goes down through Uptown, down to South Charlotte, and ends at I-485. So it really allows you to go from north to south in Charlotte by using that light rail. There's currently 26 stations along the way, but they do have very extensive plans to expand the Lynx light rail and incorporate different areas of Charlotte. They're actually planning right now to go west over to Belmont and eventually go east over to Matthews. And while we're on transportation, we have to mention the Charlotte International Airport, which is actually one of the top 10 most connected airports in the United States. And you can find a ton of different direct options, whether it's domestic or international. So if you have to go up north, out west, or overseas for business, work, or just a quick vacation, then you can easily do it at the Charlotte International Airport. And it's centrally located here in Charlotte. It's not like one of those cities where you have to drive 45 minutes outside of town to get to the airport. It's right here in the west side of Charlotte. So no matter where you are in Charlotte, you're gonna be around 25 to 30 minutes from the airport. There's also another airport, the Concord Regional Airport, just outside of Charlotte. It's a smaller airport, but you can find some pretty good and cheap regional flights there. So how about the different vibes you can find here in Charlotte? Well, let's start with Uptown. Well, Uptown is the business district here in Charlotte, but you can find a ton of different sports, music, and attractions right here in Uptown. You have the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center, which Broadway shows continuously come through. And if you love sports, you're in the right place, and most of the stadiums are right here in Uptown. You have the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Football Club right here playing in the Bank of America Stadium. You have the Charlotte Hornets playing over at the Spectrum Center. You have the Charlotte Knights at the Truist Field, and Charlotte Checkers at the Bojangles Coliseum. So whatever your sport is, we do have it here in Charlotte. And because we have so many stadiums, there are a lot of concerts and shows that do travel to Charlotte. So you can always find your favorite musician playing here in Charlotte. And you have some fantastic museums like the Mint Museum and the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Great weekend trip with the kids. Now, outside of that 277 loop, which is really uptown, you're gonna find a lot of cool and hip little boroughs, right? You have Plaza Midwood, you have Noda, you have South End. These really house the city's nightlife. So if you look right outside that 277 loop, you're going to find South End, which is super popular with young professionals. Dilworth, a little bit more high-end and upscale, but very popular. A lot of great restaurants there as well. You have Elizabeth, you have Plaza Midwood and Noda, which is really good for young professionals as well. A lot of different bars, restaurants, extremely walkable. These boroughs here are really where you're gonna find that city's heartbeat. Now, the most established areas really start kind of in the south at South End and go all the way around till you get to about Plaza Midwood and Noda. There are some more up and coming spots. If you look over to the west, like Wesley Heights and Biddleville, I'll tell you, every time I drive through there, there's more development, more building, some super cool stuff going on the west side as well, but it's not as established as the south and the east. Now, if we expand our search up a little bit and look a little bit farther out, as you kind of get farther and farther out, you're going to get a little bit more of a suburban feel, but every single part of the Charlotte area has their own vibe and their own culture. So it really depends on what you're looking for in an area or location. Now, if you're looking at Charlotte in particular, you're really looking inside that 485 loop. So let's look at one of the most established areas and one of the most popular areas here in Charlotte, which is South Park. This is also one of the most affluent areas in Charlotte as well. You're gonna find a lot of mega mansions, some gorgeous neighborhoods, and some beautiful architecture surrounding this area. In South Park, you're gonna find some flagship neighborhoods like Myers Park, Foxcroft, and Governor's Square. And it's really all based around the South Park Mall. And I know whenever you guys start thinking about malls, you think about those run-down little rinky-dinky malls. South Park Mall is a upscale, affluent, high-end mall that is extremely popular. So if you are in the area, I definitely recommend going and check out South Park Mall. It is an experience in itself. South Charlotte and South Park also house a lot of the golf courses and golf course communities in the area as well. So if you go a little bit farther down than South Park, you're gonna find golf course communities like Piper Glen and Raintree, but there's also some great country clubs like Quail Hollow Country Club and Caramel Country Club as well. So if we go a little bit farther south, we reach Ballantyne. This is a very affluent part of the Charlotte area, a little bit newer than the South Charlotte and South Park areas. They started really building this master plan community a few decades ago, and they're actually revitalizing it with Ballantyne Reimagined. There's a lot of super cool things to do, a lot of great housing options here as well. Very affluent, very popular, definitely want to check it out. Ballantyne hugs I-485, which gives you super easy access to everything in the greater Charlotte area, and is really centered around the Ballantyne Village Shopping Center and the Ballantyne Hotel. Now, if we continue along I-485 and go east, you're gonna run into Matthews and Mint Hill. Now, Matthews has a super cool, walkable downtown bar and restaurant area. There's a lot of great restaurants, some things to do, very family oriented, and you can find a lot of great neighborhoods in Matthews. Mint Hill gives you a little bit more space from your neighbors. It's a little bit more wooded, a little bit more rural. So if you're looking for a little bit more space, then you wanna check out the Mint Hill area. Now, if you continue along 485 and go to the North Charlotte area, you're gonna run into the University area. It's really centered around UNC Charlotte. There's a lot of fantastic neighborhoods in this area and a lot of great restaurants and shops to visit as well. Now, over in the West Charlotte area, this is the not as established and more up and coming area. There's a lot of new construction going on. There's a lot of really cool things developing, but there's not as much infrastructure and things to do as the other parts that we've chatted about. You do have Mountain Island Lake and some really nice luxurious communities kind of nestled on that lake. Mountain Island Lake is the closest lake to Charlotte, and it's actually Charlotte's drinking water as well. Gives you that fantastic lake life. Now, they are currently developing a super cool master plan community that's supposed to be the next Ballantyne here in Charlotte, and it's called the River District. This will be in West Charlotte, nestled right along that Catawba River, and it's going to transform the area, so there's a lot of growth, and I'm super excited about the West Charlotte area. Now, if you are looking to purchase a home in West Charlotte, then you want to be mindful that this is where the Charlotte International Airport is located, so depending on where you are, you may have a decent bit of airplane noise as they come in and land and take off. The biggest affected areas are really just north of that Charlotte airport. Now, between West Charlotte and Ballantyne, you're gonna find Still Creek. Now, Still Creek used to be very rural and very wooded, but it has seen a ton of growth recently. So you have a lot of great neighborhoods, communities, shops, and things to do right in the Still Creek area. You guys may have heard of the Palisades, which is kind of the flagship community nestled right on Lake Wylie. It's one of the most popular communities in the area. You're gonna find that right in Still Creek. The Sanctuary is also in Still Creek as well. You're gonna find the Charlotte Premium Outlets in Still Creek. Arsley, which is a great little kind of restaurant and shopping area, is all right here in Still Creek. So that's a brief overview, and by brief, I mean brief, guys. We try to hit on some of the biggest boroughs, areas, and communities in the Charlotte area, but we've actually shot videos where we dive deep on most of the communities we actually mentioned just now. So if you are curious on one of these communities, again, I implore you to go to our YouTube channel. You're gonna find a ton of different communities where we go much deeper on places like Still Creek, Ballantyne, what's going on in the River District, Mountain Island Lake, and some other cool spots as well. So how about some great things to do? Now, you're going to find a lot of super cool things to do while you're here in Charlotte. We have the National Whitewater Center, which is a man-made whitewater rafting center that you can go visit, have some great time, raft, rock climb, there's rope courses. They always have great music and a lot of fun events. You can go visit Carowinds, which is a super cool amusement park if you want to get your thrill on. And they also have a water park as well. You have some great museums right in the Uptown area. We mentioned Mint Museum earlier, the NASCAR Hall of Fame. There's a lot of things to do here. And if you love the outdoors, you're definitely in the right place because Charlotte has a lot to offer. It has a very extensive greenway system that connects a lot of different parts of the Charlotte area, but they also have some super cool parks as well. Freedom Park, which is one of my favorite parks. You also have the McDonald Nature Preserve nestled on Lake Wylie, and you also have the Romare Bearden Park, all very popular parks. And you can't forget one of the best aspects here in Charlotte, and that's lake life. Charlotte's actually super close to 3 different lakes. Mountain Island Lake is the closest to the Charlotte City Center, but you also have Lake Wylie and Lake Norman. Lake Norman is the largest man-made lake on the East Coast. Very popular, some very expensive real estate in the area, and a lot of fun things to do. Mountain Island Lake's a little bit smaller, a little bit more of a quiet lake. Then Lake Wylie's kind of that nice Goldilocks in between. So you're always super close and you can get out there for a nice day in the sun on the water with your friends. So how about Charlotte's restaurant scene? And I'll tell you, I grew up in the Charlotte area, and that was one of my biggest complaints for the longest time, is we really didn't have that many great restaurants to go to. But that's definitely changed over the past few years. There is a ton of great restaurants, always opening new restaurants up all throughout this town. So you're gonna find that this restaurant scene is booming. You definitely want to go visit some fantastic restaurants like Supperland, Steak 48, The Haymaker, Haberdash, Mama Ricotta's. And guys, I will tell you, brunch is pretty much a way of life here in Charlotte. You're gonna find a lot of fantastic brunch spots to visit and explore. So Charlotte itself is a super cool city. It's got a lot of different vibes, a lot of different things going on. And guys, it is expanding and growing fast. And take it from me, I'm a local. In my opinion, Charlotte's growing in the right way. So if you are looking to move to the Charlotte area, just for your notes, the average price point for a single family home here in Charlotte is $570,000, but it's really not even worth mentioning because that varies so greatly depending on where you're looking, right? You can find homes around $300,000, but you can also find some spectacular mega mansions around $7 million and above. But the biggest question is, what area and vibe in Charlotte is right for you? I do recommend taking a look through our channel. There's a ton of different videos that dives deep on a lot of these specific locations and areas to help you along your housing journey. And if you do have any particular questions, if you're thinking about moving to the area or within the area, myself and my team would love to be your residential real estate resource of choice. So if you're looking to move in 9 days or if you're looking to move in 90 days, give us a call, text us, email us, schedule a Zoom meeting so we can meet face to face. We'd love to be able to sit down with you, answer the questions that you have about the Charlotte area and making that move and make your transition a smooth one. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around town.